And hello everybody, welcome to our third live stream, this time me and co-hosted by Cristian over here, my good friend. And today for our agenda we have for you a very interesting topic, and it's about how you should prepare for moving to Finland if you haven't moved yet here and you are planning to move here, what you should be ready for, and what is awaiting you here. And also, if you have just recently moved here and you don't know where to start, or you haven't had enough time to experience how things work around here, we can also talk a little bit about that in today's program. And we are going to address also the by the end of the broadcast, we are going to address the corona and the COVID situation, and how is it going to affect you if you are planning to move here, as well as we are going to talk about some more official, like, bureaucracy, what type of papers you should bring with you that could come handy while you're staying here, and other things like a sort of a packing list for you, if you will. I'm also going to talk about particular towns and particular places in Finland that is maybe more, well, how should I say, maybe more maybe a little easier for foreigners to, integrate and to find their path. And I'm also going to talk about the healthcare. How does the Finnish healthcare work if you're a foreigner? And maybe we can address also some insurances, like the common insurance what we have here by Kela is the social security insurance, and topics as such. So I have already introduced myself in the previous two live streams. My name is Peter, and I've been living in Finland for how many? I think 8 years about. I don't anymore really keep a track on it, but I have had a lot of experience in studying, working here, integrating, learning the language, official business, really all kinds of stuff. And I have also a co-host here, Cristian. Please, would you be so kind and
hello. Yourself? Hello everyone, thanks for calling me in for this live stream. Yeah, my name is Cristian. I also moved to Finland 3 years ago to study. So I, like Peter, maybe I can come up with more fresh experiences in, regarding moving. And during these 3 years, I also encountered continuously challenges from what appears from when you move to another country. And I'll give my personal advices and our own research about this.
All right, certainly. I mean, do you have how long have you been living in Finland?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So a lot has changed ever since. I remember when I moved here back then, and nowadays you have to do pretty much all the official business, like residence permits and so forth in Migri, the immigration services. But when I moved here, I was able to apply back then at the local police station for the residence permit. So it was,
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was so much different. It was way easier because there's only a handful of immigration service offices in Finland. In Helsinki, I think there is one in Oulu, and I'm not sure that there might be one in Tampere. but I don't want to be fake news, so don't take my word for it. So yeah. Before I forget,
for me,
yeah.
it was not with the police. I went to Maestrati, and the only thing that I got from the police station, it was the ID, like itself.
Yeah. We're also
think,
going to talk about that, about ID and driver's license, because that's something we should address. That is very important. But before I forget, this live stream was made possible by Globuzzer, the social platform for expats. Make sure you pay a visit, and you can join the expat community. We have sections separately for towns such as Stockholm, Oslo, Copenhagen. We have Budapest, many towns and countries, and you can find your own group where you would like to find tips and advices about local life. What can you do in your free time? Official business, shopping, pretty much anything. So I should probably start with the packing list, what I have taken with me, and as a forward thinking back then, I always do prepare really well if I travel somewhere, but this was a particularly hard list to compose. But I think the most important thing is in terms of clothing is that depending on where you come from, but for people who come from south, Finland can be pretty cold. I mean, I endure cold pretty well, but I see already now many people who are foreigners and come from southern or warmer country, they dress in thick fat coat and beanies and boots. So but if you come from a country where you are more used to the cold weather, you might be able to survive with lighter clothing, but you should definitely, as for the sake of being, keeping yourself warm, pack yourself some warm clothes. I think at this time of the year, for me, it's not yet that cold. It's sometimes during the night at this time falls under the minus degrees, but during the day it's pretty bearable. And you can, I mean, I mean, like I hang around outside in a sweater, so that's all right. But that's just me. So you might be feeling a little cold in a sweater now. What do you think, Cristian? What type of clothes would you wear now? Do you wear?
Like talking about moving to Finland in this season, or just generally what I'm wearing nowadays?
Like when you plan to move to Finland for like a longer period of time, and you want to think ahead and pack some clothes that's going to be useful. If you like, maybe you move in the autumn and you're going to stay for good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, take all the jackets you have, I can say. And forget about wearing t-shirts. Like you're gonna wear just normal t-shirts because they're not visible. You're gonna have also a jumper on you and also the jacket. I mean, myself, I'm doing that because it's pretty chill for me.
What do you think about Finnish summers? Would you call them summer?
Yeah, honestly, I like them. Maybe even more the ones in Romania. I'm originally from Romania. I think I forgot to say that. And in my country, the summers are very, very hot, like very hot. And here it's like, it's nice for me because it gets to 25, 26 Celsius degrees, and it's very enjoyable. Like you don't sweat when you walk on the street. That's very nice.
Absolutely. I remember I was when was it? It must have been like 3-4 years ago when I went to the sauna. That's the biggest. It's not a mountain, but it's like the biggest hill formation in Finland. And I actually got burnt
Hill,
during
not mountain.
a hill. It's not a mountain. It's a hill. Tunturi, they call it. But I actually burnt my skin when I was laying outside the sun in Lapland during the summer. So that was an interesting experience.
I also saw Huang wrote in the chat. I just want to say hi. It's good to have people on the chat writing. Like we have our own script, but of course, guys, we're gonna answer your messages and questions, whatever you have.
Yeah, we can see all the
Sure.
messages and questions and comments. So just feel free to drop a comment, and we can find the time to address any concerns about anything.
And also, I noticed that if you're not allowed to write, you have to join this group that we're holding the live stream in, and you'll be able to write in the chat afterwards.
Good note. So moving on with the packaging list, with the packing list, I would want to address the official documents that you should bring with you, and I just want to conclude what I have brought with me. Of course, passport, and you should bring your driver's license if you have any. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And before I moved here, I had my birth certificate and my certificate from high school translated to English, because that can be useful if you want to find a work, or if you're applying.
They got useful at some point? You use them?
I used them, I used them when I started my vocational degree.
Same for me, for the uni.
Yeah, so it's much better to have it translated. I had it translated to English in my home country, because if I would now want to hire somebody over here in Finland to translate it to English or Finnish, it would be really, really expensive. So you might be able to pull that off way cheaper if you have it translated back in your home country, instead of having it to do it once you have moved already here. And also the same thing with my birth certificate. I had that translated as well. Just for the mind piece. Otherwise, no medical records. I haven't had to transfer or anything. They have asked once I have, because I had once a pretty bad wound, and there is the what's it called, the vaccination for it, so your blood don't get infected, I didn't remember.
I don't know how it's in English.
Anyways, but it should be renewed in every 10 years, but better in every 9 years. And I also have been vaccinated for hepatitis A and B, which is uncommon in Finland, but I have it nevertheless. But sometimes it's good to remember what you had been vaccinated for and your allergies, so you can tell it to your doctor. And because in Finland all the medical data is online, so that's pretty well connected over here. But where I come from, the doctor only keeps like a folder with the written everything written down on paper, like physical copies, and it's kind of an old-fashioned way. But anyways,
there's a question from Wong regarding the document. Shall you read it, or should I go on?
No, I can read it. If you step into Finland, but unluckily we lost documents like passport, visa, and can't open a bank account either, is there any option to help? Yes, you should look up your country's embassy, and they can arrange you documents through that. I had my permanent residence in my home country cancelled through the embassy, as well as I have had to get some type of official documents from my home country that I didn't have with me, and that was because when you get married over here, you have to have proof of not being married from your country, right? So your embassy, your country's embassy, can provide you all those documents. Yes, so about driver's license, it is important to note that once you move to Finland, it is advised that you change your driver's license after 3 months. After the first 3 months, you can, but max within a year, because and that's I think that's very cheap. Like you only have to pay for the handling costs, which is really not that much. But if you don't do that, there might be a huge chance that you're going to have to retake the driving lessons, which are really expensive in Finland. They can over 3,000 euros for the whole driver's course, so it can get really expensive. So make sure you have your driver's license with you and you change it to a Finnish driver's license after 3 months. What other documents do you, Cristian, have anything to add? Any official documents you think of?
Not really. Also, you specified the transcript from previous studies. You said that? I don't.
Transcript from previous studies. I didn't specify that. I only mentioned that I had my my certificate from my high school translated to English. So that's.
But yeah, something like that. Like if you have previous studies, and of course translated. But basically, all these documents that we specified, we talked about, it's good to have them all translated, even though maybe you think like, oh, I don't need it. Just as Peter said, it might become very costly to do it here, translate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if there's nothing to add there, I think.
Yeah, I think we have covered it pretty well. In terms of your electric devices, if you come from a country that has different sockets in the wall than over here, you should consider bringing you a adapter for that, and sometimes I don't know, because most of the laptops come with the transformator, that even if your country uses like 110 volts instead of the 230 that we use over here, you don't need a voltage breaker, because the transformator is capable to, transform the voltage to what your device requires. Or you can probably purchase a new transformator for your devices over here. But if you have something that you cannot find spare replacements over here, you should definitely bring with you the adapter for your devices. If you have MacBooks or something, you can easily find from Apple stores. That's something that's compatible with your device as well. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, and you should consider things that you would rather bring with you instead of buying it over here, because there might be items in your country that can be purchased way cheaper over there than over here. So you should consider buying them in your own home country and then bring it to Finland with you if you're going to want to invest into something. Okay, I think we have covered the packing list and we can move on to the towns I would recommend to move. And Christian, you can, if you want, you can start because you live closer to Helsinki than I do, so you can share your opinion about what do you think, which towns would you recommend and why would you recommend a move?
Well, yeah, depends. That depends on if you go to study there or you want a place to find easier, like if you have an easier process in finding a job. But I was just thinking about the packing list. I remember most of the apartments in Helsinki. I'm not sure if in Finland at all it's like that, but maybe it's just student places. Usually, they're not furnished. So I knew that before coming, and I remember I packed an air mattress
Oh,
with me.
really?
Yeah, and I got to the apartment at 2 in the morning. From the airport, I got there, and I noticed I didn't have even an electricity contract. So I was like, how am I gonna put air in this air mattress? So I started at 2 a.m. to pump it, you know.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, take this into consideration if you move, to know if your apartment is gonna be furnished, so you can have. Like I brought it from my own country back then because there was no shop open at the time here.
That's actually a good idea. That's a really good point. I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, I came prepared. Well, if I would, I don't know, for me to move to Helsinki, like when you move to Finland, to move to Helsinki is like better idea because I haven't really traveled that much into other regions of Finland, but here it's much easier because you know that it's more international in a way, and there are more tourist places to see, like when you move, and you can get easier into some activities with other people that are also maybe from your home country or international, or yeah, it's just this big city vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And what should I include there? Like reasons why to move to Helsinki or visit?
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you think? I mean, you have quite well opened that. Why you think Helsinki is a better place? You mentioned that you might have easier time to, get in contact with people who come from the same country as you do, and the local diaspora of your own culture, right?
Yeah, and what is nice about this city is that you can move around very easy, and as well if you're maybe a city person, you prefer to live in the city side, like in the center. You can as well travel very easily to some nice places that have nature or lakes. For example, I've been several times to Nuxio. Like it's a national park and it's very huge, and it's just maybe 40 minutes away. But when you get there, it seems like it's not in the city. Like you feel like you're in the middle of Finland or something like that.
What do you think about the public transport? If you want, for example, from Helsinki to go to somewhere further, like I don't know, let's say Turku, or maybe even closer Porvoo or Kotka or somewhere.
I've been to Turku by train and also by bus, if I'm not mistaken, and they're pretty affordable. And I think it's easy to get around. I mean, there are small cities and then they're not far away, and I think you have like maybe 5 or 10 rides per day, like every hour.
Did you use omnibus or?
Yeah. I use that. Yeah. Of course.
They're really good.
What I hate what I hate about them is that you have so less leg space.
Oh, yeah, but for the price, you really can't beat that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you also have
that's-
Wi-Fi. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I tend to agree with that statement. Oh, we have a question. Let's first have a look at that, and I'm going to tell my opinion. Can everyone in Finland or Helsinki speak English? Should I really learn some Finnish language before I move there? Sunisa. Okay, no, you don't have to learn Finnish language if you want to move here. Everybody speaks English here. Pretty much everyone. And you can survive in English, although Finnish can really help you out in finding employment, or kind of expand even in terms of education. You can get to study some degrees that you otherwise wouldn't be able to study in English. Which one is better, bus or train in your mind?
I prefer the train here. They have all these beverage services and food, you know?
Yeah,
I mean that for me that's different because in Romania we don't really have that. So
yeah.
when I noticed that when I was traveling here by train, I really liked it.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
I prefer bus. The train is it's way too overpriced over here. And anyhow you look at it, it's just a big monopoly that overprices everything. But yeah.
Indeed. I mean, yeah, it is pretty expensive, but I remember I used my student discount, which wasn't huge, but I wanted to see how are the trains. So
I heard rumors, it's been around for a couple of years, that there's another transport agency that would want to create their own train lines in Finland, but it didn't really move anywhere, but just a rumor. So I don't know where is that plan now, what stage.
that they wanted to buy the tracks and
They just want to establish their own, we have VR,
line.
Rautatiet, and we would have some other company that operates. It would be like an operator for train lines, right? If I'm studying tourism, do you think Lapland or Helsinki have more opportunities? I would say it depends on what you want to study in terms of tourism. I was hesitant when I started doing my degree in tourism to whether if I should stay over here in Uusimaa or should I go to Lapland, because in Rovaniemi there is also a tourism oriented university of applied sciences. So they both are tourism, but they are also quite different in that sense that if you go up north, that school concentrates a lot on Arctic tourism and tourism in Lapland, as opposed to if you go to Helsinki or Porvoo, or I think there is one also a university where you can study masters in tourism, but I don't remember. Anyway, if you go somewhere else than Lapland, it's going to be more like a kind of like a global, in a global sense, tourism. So you're going to have more of like a traditional way of what tourism is. So yeah, that was also interesting for me when I started my degree. But yeah, that's what I have learned about the whole thing, and I decided to stay here on the south. But yeah, I also wanted to express my thoughts about the where to move to Finland when you come to move here and where you should settle down, I think I stand behind what you have said, that if you want to move to be close to, also be attached to your culture, you should move somewhere in Helsinki or somewhere in town. Porvoo, there's a lot of foreigners as well. Turku, bigger towns. There's all types of communities and bigger cities. I moved close to Porvoo when I moved here, and it was alright. It was really nice place, first place to move. Now I'm living also close to Porvoo, not far off. And the transport, what I can say about it is, it's in my opinion, intercity bus lines, and if you choose to like travel within the city with bus, it's relatively expensive, I would say, if you compare it to omnibus. I heard I usually walk to school, but many of my schoolmates who used to live a bit further in the town, far away from the school, they used to come by bus every morning, and they've been always really angry about how expensive the bus tickets are. They said that they can travel to Helsinki from Porvoo with omnibus for the same price that the bus takes them from one end to the town to the other. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think that is just omnibus and their marketing strategy, like being the cheapest and stuff like that.
Yeah, last time I heard about them, they were cutting some bus lines. Unfortunately, I think it was bus lines between Helsinki and Kotka that were like getting more scarce nowadays. I used to use that bus line every now and then. I used to spend a lot of time in Kotka. I used to travel from Porvoo, and it was really good and really cheap. A fraction of the price as if you would choose to go by, I don't know, probably with car, but if you would want to have a car, that's again more expensive for you. But yeah, if you move to Finland, I would say try avoiding moving to countryside for many reasons. One of
you did that?
Yeah, I did that, and yeah, not a pleasant experience. For me at least. It's nice in terms of you have peace and quiet, but the trade-offs are pretty significant, and it's what you have to think about before you make your mind up about it. And the connections and the public transport over here on the outskirts is pretty bad.
You need a car.
You need a car, and if you want to travel with a bus, you need a car to get to the bus stop, where comes frequently enough buses that you can get to the town and get back. Because there are places where there comes bus once a day, and that's it. So
one day you go and one day you come back.
It's like, come to think of it, there's a lot of people living like that they live really far apart from each other. So you definitely need a car if you're going to be living on the countryside. It's not bad. It's really, I mean, it depends on what you want really. If you want peace and quiet, but there's a lot of things you have to plan and think about if you move to a countryside. Like, you have to make sure you have enough food for a longer period of time if you don't want to be visiting shop every day, and you have to also count on the regular electric outages, the slow internet connection,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
that is happening.
yeah. I'm hoping that I really hope that the SpaceX Starlink will be available in Finland real soon, and we will have a 600 megabits of satellite internet with 20 milliseconds latency soon over here as well.
Oh, that's big improvements, right?
Yeah, I mean they have tested that in like what was it, the middle of Minnesota, in the middle of nowhere. They measured really high speeds and low latency, so that was interesting. I'm hoping that they will bring that here too, because really all what you have on the countryside is 4G, and in some places they are now laying the fiber cables, but if you move like you can check that on the map on the availability of the internet connection, but most of the places are 4G, so that's what you are stuck with. We have one question. Are there any company services to help me pack and move out from other city to Helsinki? I don't know. I have.
There are some. I mean, for sure you can find like places where you can just rent a truck. How was it called? Paketti. What is the name in Finnish? Van, yeah. And you can also hire like the van with the driver.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are companies that just you pay them and they also move your stuff.
Yeah.
But I cannot really. I mean, we can search about that, but we can easily find.
I at
I'm
least
sure.
know that there is companies like Puilo and these companies that I think somewhere even in K-Rauta, where you can like rent these was it that you can connect it to the car, and you can pull it, what is it called, the you can pack stuff in there and close it, and it's called peräkärry in Finnish, but I don't know what's in English. But anyways, you can rent those, and if you have a car, that you can connect that, and then just it's really cheap. It's like 30-40 bucks a day. Or you can. Okay, we have another question. How hard was it for you to learn spoken Finnish? I learned quite a lot of Finnish through apps and books, and I can speak quite a lot in written Finnish, and sometimes I'm worried that learning spoken Finnish might be hard. Okay, so to that I must say that I did the opposite way. I know that the people who teach Finnish and Finnish teachers and tutors always say that learn the written Finnish first and then learn the spoken Finnish. Now what I did is that I did the exact opposite. So I learned the spoken Finnish first, and then I learned the written Finnish. It took me about...
I think that's the natural way somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if you think about it, it's like in spoken Finnish the words are way shorter than in they normally are in written Finnish. So it's kind of like it's easier for you to get used to like the sound of the language, and to speak it. There are many languages where you don't have y, a, these vowels, and it took me about 2 years to become somewhat fluent. And then you just read books and watch videos. It's very important for you to watch videos on YouTube or watch TV to get used to the sound of what it sounds like. And there is these selko-uutiset, the news, which are like being told in a
slower pace.
Yeah, slower pace and more simple language. So you can
I heard about those.
yeah, you can learn really a lot about it, and also like subtitles in the movies. That's how I learned to speak English when I was a kid. I just played video games with subtitles and learned everything.
How good is your Finnish now, Luca? And or you still have room for improvements, or and how long it took you to learn it? Would be nice to know.
Yeah, I mean, for what it feels for me is that no matter how much I try to learn Finnish, I will never be as good as a native, which is probably true. You will never be as good.
I don't think so.
And well, you know, when you're native, you unless if you have moved here as a very little kid. But when you have native, you have this kind of like your attitude towards how sentences are spoken, and it's kind of difficult to say, but I gotta feel that I will never be as good as a native, no matter how hard I try to learn. But yeah. Okay, I think we have covered pretty much everything about how bad is countryside and how good is living in city.
I mean, they have the pros and cons both of them.
Definitely.
I think in the end you can do well in both of cases.
I mean, it's not like I'm saying that there are no foreigners in the countryside, because where I live over here is, I don't know how many, about 5,000 people in the whole area, I think.
You know everybody, huh?
No, I don't know nobody. And I try to keep it that way. I like my privacy.
You turned very Finnish, huh?
Yeah, I guess I always was somehow. But over here even, I know that there lives at least a British guy and Vietnamese and a Thai family, but there is also Turkish people and an Italian guy. I see him every now and then on Facebook, who lives somewhere here in my area. Luca, I would say I can have simple conversation and I can understand pretty much everything someone says to me or what I read. I sometimes hard to find right words to express my I guess the struggle is real. I also sometimes struggle to find the right words to express how I feel.
But 4 months, that's quite decent, I can say.
That's really good. I mean, that's really good. I mean, you really gotta eat, sleep, and Finnish language.
But in order to learn it, you gotta speak it also when you eat, right? Somehow.
It's I guess it was easy for me in that sense that I got into a Finnish family when I moved here.
Oh,
and, it's kind of it's like, you know, when you move here alone, it's kind of like a natural instinct that you want to try to survive. Yeah. So.
But that's a huge plus. I mean,
yeah,
you were learning, and at the same time you were having maybe family meetings, and of course maybe it was hard because they would have maybe some kind of accent, I guess, some kind of dialect.
Yeah. Nowadays I am the one who has the accent, okay?
But to come back to Luca, that is good for you, man. It's good that you got to learn so much. It's great to hear about people that get to learn Finnish so fast. Like, I cannot say that about myself.
I think also one good key is that if you acquire some Finnish friends, it can also help a lot. Like I cannot stress it much enough that how important it is that to not to only surround yourself with your own culture and your people who only speak your own language, but you should definitely have people around you who are Finnish and native, and with that help you can really learn fast.
Yeah, but as I said, for me, I think I'm in the same situation with Huang. He said I have been in Finland for 2 years, but just know how to say moi, hey, kiitos. Yeah, I can relate.
Okay. Well, I want to still ask you, Christian, why did you move? Was only the education over here why you moved here, or did you have any other motivations? Why do you like this country so much?
Well, I knew nobody here in Finland.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard of a girl from high school that joined university here, so I was like, wow, in Finland. And then I got to see how are the universities here, and I wasn't kind of interested in any uni in my home country. So I went ahead and I just applied. I came here for the exams. Like I came to Finland for the exams for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's different. I got to grow in this environment because I came here at 18 years old. So I don't know what to say. I also like it. I also don't like it. It's still going on.
Have you had problem finding friends?
Yeah, I quite did have some problems. I mean, still I don't have many friends. Like just a couple of friends, and they're not Finnish, for example. My only friends are international, like from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? I think you have many Finnish friends at this point.
Oh yeah, I have a few. I don't in general have many friends, but I have few Finnish friends. Yeah, some of them I play games with like almost every day. So online. So we have mic and headphones, and we speak to each other.
Do you meet?
Sorry?
Do you meet?
I met my friends who are my friends in school, so they were my classmates and that's how we became friends, but otherwise I don't really go out with the purpose of meeting people, yeah.
There is a question in the chat from Beatrice.
Let's see. Relating to an application for an affordable rental property in Helsinki that the city offers, if I'm going to live in Helsinki for at least 3 years, is it long enough to apply for this kind of apartments? I read something about long living requirement relating to the Kela number that I need to make such an application. Sorry if it is confusing. Okay, I guess I know what you mean. Very good question.
I heard about this service that Helsinki has. For example, if depending on your situation, that they can give you an apartment, but
I'm not
unfortunately,
sure.
I don't really know much about it. Do you know, Peter, about this?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what accounts to be as a long time living there for a longer period of time. But I guess the question is that is 3 years long enough time as a reason for apply to the apartment? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure because I don't have any experience in that.
I think it might be.
I would say so. I think it might be.
I was looking now, and I think I found it's from Helsinki Stadin Asunnot, and there's something here about the length. They're saying that the short term is for a few months, from 2 to 5. So I guess 3 years should be fine.
That should be fine, yeah. I don't see why not.
Are you looking at this website?
Okay, so I think we covered pretty much most of the topics which I really wanted to address, but there is one most important topic that we got asked very often, and that's the situation with the COVID and moving to Finland, and whether if you can move to Finland, and the new COVID regulations. So I think we should address some of those because they sometimes can be really confusing, and they get updated really often. I think it gets assessed like every second week, between every 1 and 2 weeks they get like assessed again, and then the government kind of acts accordingly. And I think we should address some of those so people know what actions to take. So according to Finnish constitution, all those people who are Finnish citizens are allowed to leave and allowed to come back to Finland anytime. That's the 9th paragraph, and there is the COVID regulations in terms of gatherings and events and meetings. It kind of varies in the different parts of the country. So there is Ostrobotnia, which is in Finnish it's Pohjanmaa. There is a bit stricter rules than compared to other parts of the Finland. For example, the businesses who are serving alcohol beverages, they must close by they must stop serving by 10 p.m. and all the food and beverage services businesses that serve food and beverage must be closed by 10 p.m. and
but why is that they have different rules?
It's because the COVID was worse on that area. Vaasa was one of the worst.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was only the capital area.
Oh no!
Was more.
Vaasa, I think they have like passed by. That's actually since already a month. I think they have surpassed. And it was really bad over there, and actually the head of the hospital was over there saying that he don't even recommend anybody from Vaasa to go anywhere at all. So that's about that. But in other parts of Helsinki, alcoholic beverages can be served until 12 p.m. as midnight. So, and all the businesses that are serving primarily alcohol must be closed at 1 a.m. So, if you move to Finland, or if you're living in Finland and you're not sure about the corona restrictions, it's good to know that it's not the same in all the parts of the country. It kind of varies. Okay. About moving to Finland and traveling to Finland, it's good to know that Finland follows the red, yellow and green, the typical.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the color scheme, and
for example, if you go to a red country,
and
when you come back you have to stay in quarantine, or is it just recommended?
I'm going to link this table into the chat, because I think it's good for people to know what countries are on the red and what countries are on the green list. But basically you can, the green countries right now is Thailand, New Zealand, Uruguay, South Korea, Australia, Japan, Rwanda and Singapore. What this means that the people who are coming from this country, they don't have to go to quarantine. People who go but people who arrive from countries which are high incidence countries, the red countries, they must have a certificate of that has been taken in less than 72 hours before the arrival, and to prove that they are COVID negative. And after arrival, after 72 hours after the arrival, you can go to have another test, and if that test comes back negative, you can ignore the quarantine. You are good to go. But otherwise, it's the 10 days of quarantine, if I remember correctly.
Oof.
So,
is there something you want to follow with this topic? Because we also had some questions.
Oh yeah, there is just one more thing which I want to address in the corona, is that how the countries are assessed now is that
by the number of
it's kind of like the entry could be lifted if the COVID-19 does not exceed 25 new cases per 100,000 person in the previous 14 days, so 2 weeks. Yeah.
So you kind of have to keep track on what is going on, because countries, I think there are countries that are shifting to yellow state to a green state.
Yeah,
it's
like
maybe to red.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends.
Confusing.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends in the Netherlands, and they say that it's really bad over there. They got like a weekly, like a lot of thousands of cases. So it's been really hectic over there. But yeah, let's get to the chat and let's have a look at these questions over here. We have one. Guys, tell us about your experience, whether you should move in summer or winter and why. Cristian, would you like to take this first?
Yeah, of course in summer.
Of course you would like to.
Of course in the summer. I also moved here in August. I think it was maybe mid-August. I would recommend to move maybe earlier than that, because I came in August and I was like, oh, the autumn is already here. And but yeah, this season, maybe during the middle of the summer or end of the summer, I would recommend that. Like, what about you? What would you say about it?
Well, when I moved here, it was winter. It was December. It was 8 years ago, and it was like when I arrived, it was like I almost said like it was like moving to a different country, but yeah, it was a lot of snow. Like really, it was so much of snow.
Yeah, I heard it used to be more snow than it now.
Yeah, it's been nowadays there's not all that much snow.
And there was also a question from.
But what I would recommend, but I would recommend.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know. It's it didn't really matter for me. Like I was just happy to be here. So maybe during the summer, if you think about kind of like getting used to, but again, when you move to Finland, you have to account with that the day and night cycles over here might be a lot different than what you have in your own country. Like where I
Oh, yeah.
come from, we have only a few hours difference, a couple of hours difference when the sun sets during the summer and rises, and when on the winter. But over here, there can be summer days when literally the sun don't set at all, and then in the winter it can be days of darkness. And that's actually, I heard a lot of foreigners talking about it. It wasn't the temperatures that was the hardest thing to get used to. It was the day and night cycles. They couldn't sleep during the summers, and they were all the time tired during the winter. So
Yeah, I can relate. Like during the summer, I don't know what I'm doing when I'm going to sleep or when I'm waking up. But it's for sure you need the blackouts. That is for sure. And there was an interesting question in the chat. Which Finnish level is enough to apply for national citizenship? I think you should know that.
I think it's B2, isn't it? I think it's B2.
I don't know.
No. Okay. I will have that look. I think it's B2. I'm 90% sure it's B2.
But about that, it's really interesting that I understood that in Sweden they don't really ask you for high Swedish level of skills, and in Finland they actually do. And you need to know really good Finnish in order to pass those tests. And it's interesting to have this comparing, like when you compare them, how they approach.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure if that's a good thing in general if we are thinking about it, because I think I have covered it in the previous live stream, but I'm just going to repeat it one more time that if you, I mean, it helps to integrate to the culture a lot. It helps you understand the culture a lot more if you know to speak the language too. It's kind of like it's a hand-in-hand thing, you know?
Yeah.
With the language, I remember there was a B2 was the level what you have to apply for Finnish university, but if you have any kind of education that you have carried out in Finnish language, and you have the National Certificate of Language Certificate, the UKI, is minimum level 3 intermediate. So that's what's written over here, but that also applies on the Swedish language as well. So either one of those.
What else do we have to talk about?
Yeah, so that was about language, and I think we have pretty much exhausted everything. I also wanted to quickly go through about that time when you have talked about why you moved to Finland, yeah. But I wanted to add to that probably I think there's a few things that I liked about the country and what like influenced my decision why I moved here. Is kind of like the peaceful culture, because I myself is like by nature very peaceful person, and I like the metal music. So Finland has really good metal bands that Children of Bodom and all these. It's really good bands. It's also also like world famous bands. Really, it's awesome. but I always kind of like cold weather rather than hot. That's where I come from. It's quite hot during the summers as well, so I just had enough of heat and sun and just like to get rid of it.
Maybe too much. But yeah, it's nice to experience the Finnish sauna, the Finnish design, which sometimes it might be a bit different. But I'm talking more about the museums that there are in Helsinki. Like they're a bit different than what I saw like in other countries. Like the museums here are way different, especially Kiasma. You've been to Kiasma?
Oh no, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that museum is very weird. Maybe you should go and see it. Yeah, and also the Finnish education, the healthcare, and security. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I feel really safe here.
It's the crime rate is really not all that high, and the police force is really properly trained, so it's really professional, kind of like the way they handle things. And there is the police violence, and there is like almost literally non-existent. So, and I just was looking at some report the other day about how many people have been shot by the police over here during the whole year. There was two shootings by the police. One which was just like they didn't even like have to like, you know, it's really like not too much of crime over here at all.
Yeah, I don't know how it is in Europe generally about that. Of course, in the States, I know that's a big thing. It's even more. But the police guys here are very calm, and they, even with the worst junkies, that they're very aggressive and stuff like that. They're still like chill. Like step into the car.
I read somewhere that Finland actually has one of the least amount of, like in terms of numbers of police officers who are patrolling on the streets, and like.
How, man? Because I always see them.
Maybe they are patrolling you.
No, I don't know, man. But like a funny story, because you said that you feel really safe. Yeah, I feel really safe here, but I also had a period of time in which, like in 2 months, they stopped me by while driving like 3 times.
Really?
I don't know, man. Yeah, like I don't know what was it, but
I was never stopped by the police.
Like whenever I was seeing a police car, like in my sight, I was like, okay, I'm prepared.
They smell your fear.
No fear. Like my father is a policeman. Like, why should I fear?
Alright, I think we can wrap this live stream up for today. I think we have covered everything. We covered the today we covered the packing list, what you should bring with you. We have covered the topic where you should move in Finland if you're planning to move. Some challenges you might be facing when you move here. Why is Finland a place you might want to consider moving to? Then we have talked about the corona situation over here. I think we have covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up for today, and thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you for the great questions. They were really good questions, and it was nice. We also have learned something, and I hope everyone who participated have learned something good. Make sure you check out the Globuzzer social network for expats, and you can join for free and connect with expats around your area. Just choose what section you want to join, and you can find good articles about local life, about tips and tricks, and bureaucracy and education, culture, food, pretty much anything, really. Also remember to check out our other Facebook groups as well as our YouTube channel, and this video is going to be also on the YouTube channel later on, with a bit more edited. I'm going to edit probably the comments and some articles and links, so if you want to rewatch this video, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We also have Skill Scanner, where you can find workplaces, English-speaking places in the Nordics. So if you are looking to find work, you might give it a shot and might try it, and you might be able to find something you're interested in over there. So if you are looking for work, make sure you check out Skill Scanner. That's also linked in the chat right now. So thank you everyone for joining us, and have a nice weekend for everyone, and we will probably see each other in the next one.